Welcome back to the Blu808 Formula Drift Corvette build. Today we're going to talk about the aerodynamic package on the car, the complete suspension system, continue on the roll cage, and cover the fuel system a little bit. Stay tuned and see what we come up with. So aerodynamics and drifting, a lot of people say what aerodynamics and drifting? For most of the course you aren't really going fast enough for it to play a big role. It does however play a pretty substantial role on the high speed tracks, and now with Formula D limiting the tire width for the weight of the vehicle, aerodynamics will play even more of a role next season. LG Motorsports has sent over some parts that were derived from their ALMS cars to help us with that. The first being this front splitter. This is basically an OEM designed ZR1 front splitter. This will fit on any Z06 or ZR1 front bumper. But what LG did is they incorporated a flat bottom piece to it that kind of acts like an under tray. The next thing that LG sent over is their ZR1 rocker panel extensions. These are pretty much the factory ZR1 pieces, and GM spent a lot of time on the ZR1 testing its aerodynamic characteristics to make sure that it was pretty efficient. What LG did here is they basically replicated it and added to it. These pieces here are autoclave carbon. It's the real deal. It's not just fiberglass covered with carbon. LG also sent over one of their ALMS World Challenge wings. This is the same wing they use on their race car, and it should add a substantial amount of downforce to the rear of the car. With drifting, you know, it'll help out marginally. You know, we'll take every bit that we can get. We'll play with the angle and we'll try and maximize it. We'll see a huge benefit when we get to use the car in redline time attack. So anybody that's been to a pro level or even amateur level drift event will know that most drift cars tend to overheat. You'll see the car go and do a run, they'll come back and the crew is spraying the radiator down with water and they're dumping ice on the motor and trying to keep the thing cool. I think even in Seattle last year we had a garden hose that people were spraying the radiators down with, and when it comes to cooling you can never get enough airflow. LG Motorsports gave us their World Challenge hood, and again this is the same piece that they use on their race cars. It's wind tunnel tested and will actually create frontal downforce at high speeds. For us, we're going to use it more for the properties of just helping keep the engine bay cool, helping the radiator let out the hot air, and it should help us out quite a bit. So obviously, since this is going to have hydraulic e-brake setup, there's no need to keep the factory cable e-brake, so we're going to remove all the lines, the e-brake handle, the shoes and drum assembly from the rear hubs. Should save probably about 15-20 pounds of weight. Here's one. Okay, there goes the cables. Funny, when we did Conrad's car, the entire stock Brembo braking system with the e-brake assembly weighed 182 pounds.
What?
Yeah, the pedals, the master cylinders, the e-brake, rotors, calipers. We can also get rid of the EVAP purge solenoid assembly right here in the EVAP box, since we're not going to have any smog equipment on the car.
So Luke went to eat some food, I think some meatballs or something, so I'm going to be scraping random goo off the car.
So Aeromotive's helping us out with the fuel system on the Corvette for next season. This is one of their AX1000 pumps. It's pretty much the industry standard for the past couple years in fuel pump technology. It's good for about 1100 horsepower. And one of the things they've done with their research and engineering is develop a drop-in fuel pump system for the new Corvettes. And it's basically the same pump, but in a drop-in tank configuration. It allows you to use a stock Corvette tank with this fuel pump. Everything bolts in like factory, and it should be good to about 1100 horsepower. So the Corvette from the factory has a saddlebag fuel tank setup. It has one tank here behind the driver's seat, and then another one on the other side behind the passenger seat. It's a good setup. It balances the car real well, but with drifting we only use a couple gallons of gas at a time. So we're going to get rid of the driver's side gas tank and then modify the fuel crossover tubes. That way the fuel filler neck feeds over and fills the passenger side tank. I'm gonna have to slide this arm all the way out.
And I'm gonna do this one.
No? Alright. Are you free? Alright, should be free. Alright. I just need the ring. That should work. That's different. So that looks like it'll work. So we should be able to take our new Aeromotive pump that's supposed to drop in the driver's side gas tank and just drop it in the passenger side one and use that to offset the weight balance of the car. So now we're going to measure for the A-pillar bar. We want to make sure that we get the new tube as close to the factory A-pillar as possible. So we come down here, it's about 23. 23, double check, that's good. Do the height. Let's do the floor to give us a little bit extra. Touch a little bit less. I'll make sure I don't get too much of an angle going. Cool, so 60 degrees on the bend. That should work. Let's bend up some tubes. What did I say, 60 degrees? So we're gonna go 63 because of the spring back on the chromoly. And that's our A-pillar bar. Ooh. Almost there. ShamWow. You're not down for it to hold itself up? My side's like perfect over here. How's your side?
Yeah, perfect. Pretty fucking nice. Yeah, perfect.
Not good. I see. You can actually probably prep that door bar in these once I get it marked up on the other side. So it's 12 3/4. Should be. Doop-a-doo.
Where's that music coming from?
Where is that music coming from?
Sounds like some 30s music. Next door?
Probably. It's pretty cool, 30s music. I'd be down with that. What about you?
Sure.
Check out our headroom here. That's nice. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah. You got some clearance here. Yeah, you can lean it back to that right there.
Yeah, even for a tall driver, see? I can't even floor it all the way.
Well, you don't need to. It's a vet. You can just be done.
It's hard when you're welding chromoly because if you put too much heat in, it'll become brittle. So you have to kind of move along as fast as possible, but still being able to get a penetrating weld. That's perfect.
Is it already welded from here down?
Yep.
Okay. Good. Good. Yep.
Is that pretty fun?
Yeah, it sounds weird when you talk with the mask on.
What does it sound like?
Darth Vader.
I'm Darth Vader. I'm really uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable Vader?
Yeah. Alright, down. Up. Don't show that part. So one of the key elements to any competition level drift car is the suspension setup. A lot of people would think when you're setting up a drift car, they would set it up stiff and put skinny tires on it so the car would be easy to slide. And while that's good for somebody starting out or somebody that wants to slide a low power car, nowadays with the level of professional cars, they're really set up soft, almost like a drag car and a road race car. So that way when you're accelerating, you have a lot of forward bite, a lot of traction. You're able to get a lot of speed going in a short amount of time and short distance. Obviously, the car that is set up softer and has more traction is going to be able to out accelerate the car that is behind him. One of the things we take into consideration whenever we're building any drift car, setting up any car for whatever track we're going to, is spring rates and valving, dampening, all of your camber and toe adjustments, everything like that play a huge role as far as how the car responds and reacts while you're on the track. I remember Irwindale when Conrad went up against Tanner. Tanner's crew chief, Steph Papadakis, he's world renowned for his drag car setup, and it was pretty obvious when they took off from the start-finish line. That thing just took off like a drag car, and you have to find a happy balance between a car that accelerates well and a car that still handles well. Obviously, if it's set up too soft and doesn't accelerate really good in a straight line, it's not going to handle that well in the corners. So being able to set up a drift car in the sense where it can still accelerate fast in a straight line, have a lot of forward bite, but still be controllable while sliding is something that we're constantly battling with. And it's something that you get a feel for. You see how each car reacts with different setups, different spring rates, and it's something that you'll get used to, and you'll kind of get to know the car after a couple test sessions, and you'll know what to keep on the trailer as far as spring rates and what alignment settings you want to keep everything at for the various tracks that you go to. We're over here at this place eating.
What's this place called?
I don't even know.
Oh, it's Jalisco.
Jalisco?
Yeah.
We're over here at Jalisco.
So we're taking a New Year's Day break.
And we're taking a break from
We're gonna blow this place up by having our awesome video.
Yeah. This place should get hella popular after everybody on the video sees it.
I don't want to be sponsored by Coke. What about Doritos? This is actually a pretty popular company. Fabian should look into that one.
You should.
What do you think of the food here?
It's good, man. I think I have a new favorite place.
What about you, Josh?
Awesome.